Oh, it's Mike Floss in here, checking off the bucket list. Lifelong goals where I'm from, Concrete Magazine, I know what it is.
This is Concrete TV. Concrete TV.
All my music lived on the internet. So when you Google it, Nashville, open mic, hip hop, it's like impossible to find any songs, any music, anything, because you find open mic nights, you find Cafe Coco, you find, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You find everything that's going on in the city that had nothing to do with me. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get something that's actually like, reflects my identity as well as something that you can Google online, because that's where my whole catalog is. So I took the first song from some mixtape I had at the time. The first song was Floss. So I took that and adopted it as my last name, and then my given name is Michael, so it just took my regular name, put Floss at the end of it, Mike Floss. Everywhere. I've lived Antioch, to Bellevue, to East Nashville, to North Nashville, all over the place. I think Nashville, like, the interesting thing about Nashville hip hop and the way it influences your music is that you have to create something for yourself. Because I feel like in my generation, like, all the OGs that came up in the Ville, from Buck, Toledo, to Paper, to Jelly Roll, to whoever, all of them like didn't necessarily speak to our generation and what it was that we was into at that time when they was popping off. So we kind of had to invent our own thing. And I think that's the part of Nashville that influenced my sound the most, because you have nothing to lean on. It's like in Chicago where you have a drill movement, or in Atlanta where you have a very distinct sound. You have these very specific sonics that come from your city. In Nashville, when you don't really have that, especially not something that relates to your experience, then you have to create something, and it forces you to be yourself. So I think that's what Nashville did for me. It just made me be 100% me. I think the city is changing it's positive and negative. You know, like with gentrification, with it becoming extremely hard to live in Nashville, when you're from Nashville, even just when it's like, you meet people and they be like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, from Nashville. You're like, huh? It's like, bro, we're in Nashville. Why is that weird? Like, we live, like, this is where I live where I'm from. Like, that's rare at this point. So that's kind of weird. And the cost of living is getting higher than I think is appropriate. Like, I think people are really capitalizing on the people that are moving into the city and pushing the people that are from here that created the culture out of the city. Like, a lot of people are moving to Madison, Antioch, wherever. You can't really live in the city. But along with that comes a lot of necessary change, like just being able to see, even if it's not based on this influx of people, like seeing the North Collective put these murals up that wasn't here when I was, 10 years old. Like, just being able to drive down the street and see that is amazing. Like, being able to go to a Slim and Huskies, you know what I'm saying? And like have these different people that are really in tune with the culture and hip hop and being from Nashville. Being able to have these places and these businesses getting opened up, that's beautiful. So it's got its pros and its cons, but hopefully it's more positive than negative in the long run. My blend between extreme introvertism and also a lot of vibrant color. So you have these moments in the album where you drift into these daydreams where a conversation is happening, or me just making a mental note is going on, or me getting my girlfriend snapping on me, or whatever that happens on a regular day. You drift into these daydreams, and then it goes into the product of that emotional moment, and what comes out of that is this creative song or this idea or philosophy that I believe in personally, that makes me make sense of the chaos. So you're flowing in and out of my brain basically. So it's like this ongoing daydream. And then I have a horrible habit of daydreaming. Like, if I'm listening to a new album and I'm driving, I'm going to Murfreesboro. Like, I'm supposed to be going down the street And like I'm 45 minutes outside of Nashville because I get caught up into all these thoughts, into everything that I'm thinking about, and I just lose track of what I'm actually doing in real life. So I wanted the album to be reflective of like what my experience is as a human being. So the difference in Tennessee Daydreams and Don't Blame the Youth is, first and foremost, me controlling production. So Ducko McFly, the homie, like my brother, we've always like done stuff together. He was the production side of Don't Blame the Youth. Like that was his brainchild. Like I didn't have, like of course I picked beats or I like communicated what I liked, what I didn't like, but I didn't really have any control as far as actually creating that. So on Tennessee Daydreams, I'm involved in production on every song on the album, and then some songs I'm producing myself or co-producing with other people, or I'm going to musicians and being like, yo, I want you to play electric guitar for the first 10 seconds of this, or I want you to, you know, I'm playing tambourine on Free Love. Like I'm all over the place musically on the project, and I think that really helped craft my identity because it's all coming from the same place, versus when you work with a producer, it's this really dope collage of two people's ideas. So I think Tennessee Daydreams is a lot more authentic to just Mike Floss. Honestly, bro, like I started getting into producing because I just couldn't find the beats I wanted. Like I was having a bunch of people send me beats, and even like the homies that are really dope, like the beats is dope, but it just wasn't my vision. So my girl like bought me a keyboard, and she was like, well, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start making beats myself. So I get on my computer and I'm like on the keyboard, like letters in GarageBand, like starting to make beats and play chords with a keyboard. So she was like, let me just get you this little MIDI keyboard so you can actually do what you're trying to do. She got me that. I started producing and doing all this crazy stuff with my voice, and I just started making beats from there, just because I couldn't find what I knew I was trying to express. Free Love. And I can say that with confidence because I tatted it on my hands. I think that song is the thesis statement for this project and what I stand for as an artist, and just my understanding of the meaning of life. Like, I think all human beings are put on this earth to give love and to receive love. And a lot of times, that's why we either feel empty or we feel whole. It's because we're either filling that void where love is supposed to exist with something else, or we're giving it out and receiving it, and we feel complete. Like that's the bottom line, regardless of your religion, regardless of where you're from on the planet. At the end of the day, giving love and receiving love is the reason why we're here, and Free Love is the thesis statement to that philosophy and to the album, because it goes from this like a conversation of almost like a drug dealer trying to tempt somebody with like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you for free first because I know you're gonna get addicted to it and you're gonna come back for more. I ain't gonna charge you for it, just come and get you some. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it's that idea. And then eventually on the last verse, it goes into, you know, I come from the dirt like an earthworm, dirty to the hearse. Like it comes to this like bio of my life where I'm searching for something. And then at the end, it's will you love me? Will you love me? I realize that that's what it is that I'm looking for through all of the chaos, all of the twists and turns, and all of the dealings with different people that's supposed to be in life, not supposed to be in your life. It comes down to where is the love at? And once you can wrap your arms around that and be comfortable giving it to people and receiving it from people, which is often a lot of times like harder to do, is to receive love than it is to give it. Like once you can get to that, then you can be complete. So Cotton Candy Sky is like sunset or sunrise. It's when there's all these different, you know, colors in the sky, and you're looking up and it looks like cotton candy and it looks like a dinosaur, it looks like whatever. It's like you have this great imagination from, you know, God's work of art, which is the sunset and the sunrise. And I think for me and my generation, and you know what we're going through at this point is like it's like you almost think you grown. Like can't nobody tell you what to do, but you still don't know how to do your taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that, I'm in that space in life right now. And what happens is, like you start to actually be in a relationship. So like I'm still in my first ever like real relationship. Like I've been with women before, but I've never been in a committed like it's me and you type, we have mutual respect situation. So you kind of wonder, it's like, yo, am I even old enough for this type of love? Like, am I even emotionally ready for this? Am I intellectually ready for this? I don't know what this means. Like, you gotta figure out what women go through on a daily basis, and you have no idea what that is. Like, it's so much going on, and through that, you still trying to find yourself. So it's like, now I gotta find myself in this brand new space when I haven't even found myself for me yet. And it's like, as you moving through the life, it's like, is it safe outside for me to play? Like, you just want to look up at the sky and not have to deal with it. You don't want to have to like worry about what's going on in politics or what's going on in the media or what's going on with the president or whatever. Like, you don't want to deal with all of that, and it makes you feel like it's overwhelming. Like, you feel like you're not capable of doing this, and it's that vulnerability of saying, I may not really know what I'm doing right now. And I gotta accept that. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing right. I just gotta accept the fact that I'm overwhelmed. And this is my moment of honesty to communicate that. Because once you can communicate that, then maybe you can make some sense of everything else. But I think we gotta get to that point where you gotta be able to say, like, I don't have a handle on this. This is out of my control. Yeah. It's hard, man. It's hard. And see, my girl's an artist too, so she's got a lot of stuff going on. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to respect. It's gonna come down to patience. Like, it's gonna come down to basic stuff. Like, that's the hardest part. Like, scheduling flights, scheduling trips, that's kind of easy. That takes like 20 minutes, and it's not an argument. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to respect and being patient and like, okay, I'm tired of you coming to Detroit. I'm tired of going to Nashville. I'm tired of whatever. I'm tired of having to get off the phone every 5 minutes because your phone blowing. It comes like these types of things is what's hard to manage, and I don't have it all figured out. So I really ain't the person to give nobody relationship advice. But at the same time, I think if you respect somebody, you treat it like one of the homies. Like, if you value who that person is, you just do right by them. As long as you do that, you can probably figure out the rest. But you gotta get that part right first, or you it's gonna be static. I'm a church kid, you know what I'm saying? Born again church, West Trinity Lane, you feel me? Like, that's where I grew up at. Between there and between being in my dad's studio, like doing my homework on the floor, like that's where I come from. That's where, like, it be people I went to church with at my shows, like, that I grew up with in Bible study, you know what I'm saying? Like, coming to the shows, and I'm talking about wild stuff, like, but I think, man, I'm a spiritual person. I think a lot of times, even when I was much younger, like, people was always like, man, you wise beyond your years. Like, I have an understanding somehow of a greater dimension. And I'm not really sure where that comes from. I think it's just in my blood somehow. But yeah, I like to think of it as preaching. I like to think of it as like rapping is very much so a way of persuading a congregation to do something righteous. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you don't abuse that power, it's a beautiful thing. So I accept it, I embrace it. People used to call me church boy all the time, and it used to get on my nerves, dog. I was trying to be so tough, and I accept who I am, and I'm a positive energy type person. Like, I'm not a tough guy, and that's what you're gonna get from me in the music and in everything I do. Hopefully, I can brighten somebody's day. You feel me? Yeah. It happened so fast. So the night before, so I'm staying, shout out to the homie Jules in New Jersey. So I was staying in New Jersey. And that same week, we did Meadows Fest that Jay-Z did in Queens. So that whole like run was really wild. So we do Sway, you come to the Sirius building, they got your name up on the wall and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm not that guy. It's like Post Malone, so-and-so, Maury Povich, and Mike Floss. I'm like, I'm like, what is going on? But, so I walk in, Sway's chilling, Heather B's over here. You know, I think Heather B walked in late though. She's a savage. Like she with it. I don't know what she with, but I know she with it. Like she's there, Tracy G is there, and nobody really knows me for real. Like they know I'm coming, but like I'm not nobody important for real. So I see Sway and he's like, yo, like the album is good, man. I'm like, yo, Sway is, and I can tell he's listened to it. Like he's sat down with it and been like, okay, yeah, this is what it is. He got his notes, he got songs written down and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is insane, but it happens in the course of less than half an hour. So it's so fast, it's no time to even be nervous. It's a regular conversation. Like I'm talking to him like just a random person off the street. And then after we walk out, that's when it's like, dog, I just talked to Sway about my album. It's crazy because he's a legend. And I'm like, man, this is, at the same time though, it's like, I can't be that surprised. Like this is what I plan to do. Like it's all happening exactly how I planned for it. Not exactly how I planned for it to happen, but like these are things that's supposed to happen to me. Like if I put the work in, I can't be shocked by the results. You know what I mean? So that was a great experience, and I mean, I was up all night the night before, because you know I was ready to bar up the whole building, like just hundreds of raps, just ready to go, just in case I get put on the spot. So it was a really good experience for me, and it let me know that what I'm doing is the right thing to be doing. I knew before I even made it that I wanted to do vinyl, because for one, I mean, I look at, I'm an independent artist, so I have to be the label, you know what I'm saying? I have to be the business mind between me and Spell, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're the ones, it's like, where do we want to take this? What's working, what's not working? Where's the industry going? What's people not up on yet? And vinyl is outselling CDs, you know, like that's just market research. So I'm like, for one, that makes more sense. For two, I think it makes you a lot more credible when you hand somebody a piece of wax than when you hand them a mixtape. Because you know the price of a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? You know how easy it is to, you know, put $500 together and be like, okay, we're gonna press up 150 copies or whatever we're gonna do. Like I do that too. Like we have CDs too. We have everything we need. But at the same time, there's just a different level of respect when you hold wax in your hand, because it lets you know this person takes what they're doing seriously. So it automatically demands for them to take it seriously too. And that's really the only opportunity I need. If you can take me seriously, if you can say, okay, I'm gonna listen to this, I'm done. Because I know the music is gonna speak for itself. The hard part is getting you to press play. So that was one of the things we did to make that happen. The vinyl is available on MikeFloss.com. We'll ship it out to you. It's at Grimey's. We had a few record stores around the country, but mainly at MikeFloss.com is the place you can get the vinyl for sure. Yeah.